So don't think for 1 second that just because I'm doing a print-on-demand shop on Etsy that's exactly what you have to do to follow along with me. In fact, if you're an artist designer like me, there are a whole bunch of different things that you can make and sell on Etsy, and most of them you can do for absolutely no cost. I know, that's outlandish as hell. Why would you say that, Dave? Trust me, I have a plan. Hi, I'm Dave, and I make things. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm going to be talking about Etsy again today. In fact, I'm probably going to be talking about Etsy for the next couple videos at least, just so that we have a good amount of immersion. If you missed the first video, go right up there and you'll see the whole thing. And that one I talked about how I'm building a shop on Etsy for the first time in I don't know how long, and I'm actually putting some energy into it, but I'm doing so strictly print-on-demand t-shirts and other types of merch. But those are not the only things that you can sell as a designer on Etsy. In fact, there is a whole myriad of things that you could possibly sell, and I guarantee you that at least the first 40 listings that you post up will not cost you a dime. If you're a competent designer, they're not going to cost you any money to make, they're not going to cost you any money to list, and the only time you ever pay for anything is when you actually sell something through Etsy. So that is a bonus and a half. But what kind of magical things could we make? Well, I'll tell you about those in about 5 seconds after I take a sip of my coffee, and while I'm doing that, you should go down there and hit that like button. Good. And that will help the channel so much. So if you did it, awesome, you rock. Well, I have about 20 different things that I want to talk about here real quickly, and they all basically fall into one of three categories. The first category is really anything that is actually a physical merchandise or something that somebody can tangibly hold in their hands. The second thing are digital assets, things that people can download and use digitally. And the third thing are printables. So you make them digitally, you sell a digital file, and then somebody prints that thing out, and then that becomes the tangible thing that they have. Let's get the print-on-demand stuff out of the way. The first stuff is print-on-demand, t-shirts, gifts, merch, and art prints. Now these are technically, in my opinion, you probably want to kind of separate this stuff. Like my particular shop on Etsy right now, which you can go find a link in the description. That shop is all gonna be merchandise-oriented stuff. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna say, right now, it's all merchandise-oriented stuff. It's all mugs and journals and stickers and t-shirts, and that's what it's going to be right now. I might adapt that as we go, based on some of these things that we talk about today. I don't know yet. But there's the possibility for that. That's another conversation for another time. If you're going to do that type of stuff, I highly recommend, don't listen to my experimental nature of this thing. I highly recommend that you do the merch stuff and you do merch alone. In fact, with all of these things we talk about, figure out how you can maybe package some of these things together and just do a few things instead of trying doing them all. Because if you try to do them all, number one, your shop is going to look like a mismatch of things and nobody's going to trust you. Number two, if you try to open up more than one shop, then it's like too much to manage. Trust me, I know. Pick a specialty and focus on that and really put your energy into that thing. But I digress. Print-on-demand merch and stuff, or print-on-demand art prints. So I make the art, I put it through a print-on-demand system, load it up to my Etsy, and then when somebody sees it, they buy it, they get the print sent to them from my print provider, and then they go and hang it on the wall, and everybody's happy. Number three is an adaptation of that last one, and that's digital downloadable prints, meaning the same artwork, except you have to relinquish the frustration that you have of sending things to a print-on-demand company and just let the customer do the thing. They pay a little bit less of a price, they get a digital file, you make sure that they don't ever do anything to resell it because it's still your property, and then they print it out, and they put it up on the wall, they do all the work. And you just get paid as people constantly go and make that new print over and over and over and over and over again. What else can you do that's digital and printable so that these people can do all the work for you and you just take all the fat cheese that they're gonna send you? How about stickers? I mean, let's be real. Getting stickers printed is expensive. And even if you did a print-on-demand sticker through Printify or Printful, the stickers, they're not cheap and the margins are really, really small. There's a bunch of people that are really making a decent living by selling stickers, or at least a good amount of side hustle cash. But what if you gave people just the digital file that had all the stickers on a single page and they could print it out on their sticker paper and they could cut it out and do their thing and use it on their cars or use it in their scrapbooks or do whatever they want with it? That's a really brilliant idea. Could you still go and do printable sticker pages for people? Yeah, you could still do that if you wanted to and do all that work, but why not just give it to them and make them do it themselves? Number 5, let's talk about greeting cards and like gift tags and things that relate to gifts that you could give to other people. I can go down to the local stationery store, pick up blank stationery cards, and then print whatever I wanted on them. Now sure, I could do that myself and I can sell those to people, or I could just create the file and sell the file to the people, and then they do all the work. You do the same thing for cash envelopes, like what you give to kids, it's got the money in it, invitations, gift tags. You can specialize in just birthday cards or anniversary cards or holiday cards, or you could do all of these different things and just specialize in providing that, making all of these digital files and never having to actually print a thing. You like to party? So do I. And I love going to parties and people who do the extra thing where they go and they put all the banners and the things up all over the place with all the printable stuff that they've gotten. Well, guess where they got that stuff? They probably got it from Etsy. Instead of downloading it from you because you haven't done it yet, they've downloaded it from somebody else, but they could be downloading yours right now. Kids parties, anniversary parties, retirement parties, whatever, all the weddings, whatever there's a party for, there definitely needs some sort of printable thing to make the place look a little bit more festive. If people are on a budget, they want to do things more DIY, or they just like handling the thing themselves, well, to give them the opportunity of all your creativity, and so they can take that and turn it into something cool. You ever got one of those weddings and they have those photo booths and they have people put on crazy hats and masks and then maybe like the photo frames and stuff like that? Well, you could be doing that too. You can design the photo frames for people to use, and they go and they take your file to the local stationery shop or Office Max or Staples or wherever, and they get it printed, and you made it for them, and they're happy, and you didn't have to do a thing other than make it. Am I getting the point across here? What about all of these kids that are staying home because of the pandemic? They're still doing the social distant learning, and you have all these things that they need to do, and you've got them in the house, and they're driving you nuts. What if a woman was pulling her hair out because she didn't have all of the things that she wanted to make her kids happy, like coloring book pages, worksheets, all these different fun things that the families could do together? What if you were the person that developed these things and made these sheets for them to turn into printable things for themselves, so that the family never has to have any ill will about staying inside anymore? They got all the things they need because you made it for them, and they were super happy to pay the money that you charged for it. Fun activity books, school activity books, flashcards, coloring book pages, dot-to-dot, mazes. I mean, yeah, these things might take a little bit of work to get done at first, a little bit of time and energy to put into, but if you make them and have them available for people, I guarantee you there's going to be some people that want to buy it. You make it once and people buy it a bazillion times, or at least 3 or 4. Well, let's talk about all these people that like to do scrapbooks and stuff. Yeah, we already talked about the stickers, but they also like to have something to put those stickers on. They like these colorful backgrounds that they can print out, and they can turn that into a scrapbook page, or turn it into a journal page for them, or maybe use it as confetti for something else. And you designed them all, and you charged whatever you did, and they love you. Journal pages, yearbook pages, stationery, notebook, scrapbooking, anything where people want to take a piece of paper and turn that into some sort of memory, you can make that for them. There's a lot of aunties and grandmas out there that don't have anything better to do with their time than to tape things to other things, and they want your things to tape them to. What are we on, 10, I think? I don't know. So maybe there's something that you make or know how to make well, and can design the plans so that you can show other people how to make that thing. Maybe it's designing a pergola for their house. Maybe it's designing quilts or crochet. Maybe it's designing something that somebody else wants to make, but they don't know how to design their own patterns, or they don't know how to go on their own freely to make this thing. They need some guidance. So you make the plans, you sell them up on Etsy, and then people will download those plans. And there's a woman, I don't remember the name of her shop. It's been a long time since I looked. She was making these knitting kits for like scarves and whatever. She was making money hand over fist, and all she had to do was the pattern one time, take some attractive photos, and I mean, she was making a killing. You could have a piece of that pie. Or maybe you just really have a lot of knowledge in a very particular area, and it doesn't necessarily have a plan, but you have things you want to share. Well, how about turning that into an ebook and then make that the thing that other people want to buy? I did a thing about email newsletters a while back, and I actually don't sell it on Etsy. I sell it through Amazon. And people bought that book because they wanted to learn how to make newsletters work for themselves. Am I the utmost authority on newsletters? No, but I still sold a bunch of books that way because I had a little bit more knowledge than the people that wanted to know about it. And that's all you need. Maybe you're the person that all your friends turn to when they need to have their resumes redesigned because you know how to design these things and they don't, so they turn to you. Instead of just allowing your friends access to that talent, why don't you take that talent and turn that into downloadable resumes for people so that they can edit them in whatever program that they have available, and then you reap the rewards of all that money. Maybe some people are trying to start their own business and you know how to design logos. How about some prefab logos for people? Let's say you designed a logo for a barbershop and somebody who just happens to be a barber or a hairstylist that wants a logo for their business and they don't want to go and pay the exorbitant prices of having to go through an actual logo design company, but they like your design, so they buy that design for a set price, and then you can tell them how to adapt it, or you can tell them, hey, look, just give me the name, I'll change the name, and then I'll send you the file. And then you can sell it as multiple copies if you want, or you can sell it to them for an extended license that's strictly for them. You made the thing, you decide how it gets used best. Also do the same thing for business cards and stationery. Make a whole pack of just logos, business cards, stationery, do all that stuff as one thing or separate things. You can make a shop just about that type of stuff. Postcards, menus, whatever. You can design all of those things for somebody that they can use for their own business, and then they get to make money off of the thing that they bought from you, and you get to make money because they needed your thing. That sounds so nasty. Now maybe you're one of these people who is the exact opposite of me, and that's somebody who is ultra organized and always doing their best to track all of their time and all their data and all their information, always keeps everything well, concisely put in nice, neat stacks. Have the files and the Excel spreadsheets and all that stuff so to keep yourself like super focused, and you have all the binders, the bullet journals. Maybe you could turn all of these pages that you've designed for yourself, track all of these things. Your business plans, your checklist, your trackers, your goal-oriented stuff. You could take all of that stuff and put it into Packet and have it send it off to some other entrepreneur because they're very much like you. They want to learn how to track their time and their data and their info and their money and all the things that people track that I seem to completely ignore. You could have those people really want your thing. Oh, there, I did it again. You could have those people buy your stuff instead of them trying to go find something at Barnes & Noble or through Amazon. You've got it all. And all they got to do is come to you. But if you're using that stuff, you might already have a design and you just maybe need to make it a little bit more pretty so people feel good about it. The beauty of this is that you can take the same thing and just kind of make it a little different colors or different design styles or different motif. So the person who doesn't like the yellow and pink flowers that you have over here, maybe they like the blue organic shapes or whatever it is that you decide to put that makes the thing look prettier or more attractive to them. You've done the work maybe once or twice, and you're making all the residual off of that one effort. Maybe you fancy yourself a really good illustrator or a fantastic photographer. Why not sell that stuff as stock imagery? There's plenty of ways to sell stock imagery, and maybe Etsy isn't the primary place to do it, but you can do it through Etsy. You can do it in other places like Envato and all these other, and like, Creative Market. You can do it through there too. But maybe Etsy gives you an opportunity to reach a certain clientele, a certain type of person that they can go and they can get these downloadable things, these clip arts that they use in the things that they want to make for themselves. And you provided the content for them, and you make the residual income off of that. All you got to do is think about all the different ways that other people use clip art and how can you apply your style and your talent to that idea. What about social media banners and buttons and all the little things that everybody likes to use to decorate their Etsy page, their Facebook page, their YouTube channel, their Instagram. You know, on Instagram, how you have the little story highlights and you have the little, some people have like the really attractive little buttons and stuff like that. Not everybody knows how to build that stuff. Not everybody knows where to get that stuff. But if you were selling those types of things, imagine selling a complete whole array of all the things that anybody would need for their brand to use on all the different social media platforms. You had it already made for them, and all they had to do was drop their name in. How much do you think somebody would be willing to pay for that? Well, I guess ultimately it depends on if you were going to sell it multiple times the same way or if you were going to do something unique for them you know, obviously the money would be different. But if those folks didn't mind buying the same thing that somebody else had with just their new name, and you were okay with selling it like that, you could make residual income off of all these different things multiple times. Or, you know, somebody comes in and says, I want a custom one, and then you make the big bucks. You could do the same thing for the actual social media posts, like say on Pinterest. I mean, Pinterest requires a certain type of aesthetic, and maybe you really know how to set up something so that somebody can use it as a template, and all they got to do is drop their image in behind your template, and they could make something for their own Pinterest page. Or you build something that makes their Instagram feed look a little bit nicer. Or you build the Snapchat filters that go on top of pictures so that people can use that for their Snapchats if they want to have some sort of branding, or if they just want to celebrate a particular idea. You can build all that stuff for all these people, and they can buy it and download it for a nominal fee. Let's say you like to work in a very specific app, like say Procreate or Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever, and you know how to make certain things like brushes or color grading or any kind of presets or something like that. You know how to do these things. You know how to make them for other people to use. And so you go and create brush packs and color packs and all these other different types of packs for people to download for themselves. You can create stuff for Photoshop and Lightroom and Adobe Illustrator and Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo, and maybe it's templates for things like InDesign and Affinity Publisher, or it's Procreate, or it's CorelDRAW, or whatever. People love to buy tools. All you got to do is go to Creative Market at any given moment, and there's just like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people selling tools. If you know how to design these things, why not package them up into a thing so that somebody can purchase them directly from you instead of having to go through Creative Market? Don't let them be the gatekeeper. You take all the money. I almost forgot one. Lots of people doing streaming these days. So people who are on Twitch, people who are on YouTube, people who are on different streaming platforms, they sometimes want the things that go into their streaming platforms. And maybe you're a streamer and you know how to build these things. You know how to build the overlays. You know how to build the icons that they put into their channel. Build a bunch of that. Because I guarantee you there's new people hopping onto those platforms all the time. And when they see the pros doing it a particular way, but they don't know how to build that stuff, they're going to be looking for somebody like you. Now, there's other companies out there who are more than willing to sell them a package that these people can use. And it sounds really pretty and nice because they're paying a huge amount of money and they get all these different options. But maybe what they really need is just the thing that you're building for them, and you could be building it for them and selling it to them through Etsy. And you're not yet, but you should be. So there you go. That's, I don't know, something like 20, 21 different things. Maybe it's 100. I don't even know. I don't even know how many I mentioned anymore. But before we end this off, I want to caution you on something. And again, it goes back to the idea that if you're going to do something, focus your niche a little bit. If you want to do the party stuff, do the party stuff. If you want to do the merch, do the merch. If you want to do the business-oriented things, do that. But focus your energy towards these things. Also try to be really good about focusing your energy towards things like style or trends or holidays. Most likely when somebody comes to Etsy looking for the thing that they need, the thing that you made for them, they may find it in the listing and they'll see it and it may look beautiful. But if they go and click through to your shop and they see that you have a wide variety of different things up there, or you have a whole bunch of different styles represented, they may be a little bit trepidatious because they may not think like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this person fully gets me. Figure out what it is that you want to focus on. Figure out what kind of products that you want to provide. Figure out what kind of gaps that you need to fill, because there's definitely a gap there that has your name on it. Meaning somebody wants to buy a thing and they're not seeing the thing that they want, and you could be filling that gap if you just did a little bit of homework and research. Find the scarcity, fill the gap. That's business 101. So now go design the things and get it up on Etsy. But wait, Dave, you said it wasn't going to cost me any money, and every time I list on Etsy, it's going to cost me at least 20 cents to put a listing up. Ha ha! I got you there. You may have seen this before. If you don't have an Etsy shop already, go down below. I've got a link down there where you can get 40 free listings. That means you can put 40 different things up into your shop without having to pay a dime to Etsy. 40 listings may not sound like very much, but let me tell you, you try to get 40 listings put up on your page, it's going to take you a while. I mean, I've been doing this for a couple of days now, and I've only got like, what, 8? Anyway, that's it. Just to wrap it up in a tidy little bow. Find the thing that you want to make. Find the style that you want to produce. Find the scarcity and fill that gap. And then go make all the money. I think next time what I should probably talk about is promotion on Etsy, because I think that there is some misconceptions about how it works on Etsy and what Etsy is willing to do for you versus what you are going to have to do for yourself. We talked a little bit about that in the first video, but there's a whole other part of that conversation that I didn't touch on yet, and we need to talk about it. Okay, that's it. I'm going to get out of here. But not before I say, hey, if you have any other questions, any follow-ups, any things that you want to ask me, go down in the comments below. Post them down there. I'll do my best to either get to them in the comments, or I might even answer it in a future video. While you're headed down there, make sure you hit that like button, because I know you probably haven't done it yet, and you said you were going to, but you didn't. But if you hadn't, just go hit that button right now. And then subscribe because you know you want to, and then hit that bell because you never want to miss a thing. Before you go, if you want to see the other part of the Etsy conversation that I had, it's right up there. Or if you want to find out what I believe is the most critical mistake any designer could make, go check out my other channel right there. Thanks, guys. I've been Dave. You've been awesome. Go make more stuff.